Should have seen Catherine before. I didn't have this. Here, I'm going to show you guys. I didn't have my sweater on, and my hair was covering the straps of my, look. No, I'll just put on my sweater. That's fine. Let's be professional. Looks like I'm naked. That's not good. The most fun Zoom call ever.
Yeah, I had a gentleman say to me this morning, so clothes are optional. I'm like, just a shirt. That's all I need to know. So
I hope you did not allow him in.
well, I said, you know, you do you, but just above the waist. Okay.
Makes you wonder with the people that have their cameras off now. Now I'm wondering.
What are you guys wearing?
It's a little terrifying if they accidentally turn it on, but okay. So I think let's get started. We are recording this session, so I hope that's okay with everyone. I am going to turn the time to Kelly here, and then we're doing it a little different today, so we're actually really excited to try this new method. So have at her, Kelly.
Thank you to Lindsay and Kate from ATB who gave us a really awesome sort of Zoom training session last week, I guess. Just taught us a lot about having more energy and getting people more engaged and having it feel more like we're actually in the room together, rather than how normally when you watch a webinar, it's very much just sit back with your popcorn and just watch and not participate. And this will be better in so many ways, because when you actually participate, you actually answer questions and exchange with people, which is the whole point of this. You learn better, you know, things stick for you, and then you're more likely to go put them into action. So some of the sort of housekeeping items I wanted to go over to start with, guys. Please turn your cameras on so we can see your beautiful faces and watch your reactions when we're teaching, because sometimes when I teach a concept, if I see confused faces, I'll sort of go back and talk about it a little bit more. And I really like when I say, does that make sense? I love to see people going, yes. When nobody moves their faces, I'm like, okay, on to the next point. So please have your cameras on. Love to see your beautiful faces. And if you have a question, feel free to turn on your mic and ask it. We want to make this really interactive. And you can also, if you don't feel like talking, you can just type your questions in the comment box or the chat, and Catherine will keep an eye on that for me and make sure that I address them. Right, Catherine?
Absolutely.
Catherine's my best friend. When you have a question, nope, I already did that one. So please give us your full attention. That's my next point. Fully engage, and please turn off all other notifications and distractions, because if you're like me, and I did this morning, you could be listening to the most valuable program ever. Like this one program I was listening to this morning, it was $6,000 US, and I'm not fully listening. I'm checking my emails as I listen, and it's so stupid because I could be absorbing so much more and benefiting from it so much more. So today we ask that you close your inbox or any other tabs you have there, turn over your cell phone, shut off the vibration, and just be fully here. You'll love it. You'll learn so much more. And then you're way more likely to execute on what you learned today too. And we want to hear from you. You're all important part of the exchange, and it's called the exchange for a reason. It's not called Kelly Ray blabs on for 75 minutes straight. So we really do want to hear from you guys. So I really encourage you to speak up or ask questions or add your comments. And if you hear something you like, love, appreciate, or resonate with, you can give us a thumbs up like this. You can nod your head. You can put stuff in the comments. Does everybody know how to mute and unmute themselves? Yeah, awesome. Should be, if anybody doesn't, because there's a couple people with their cameras off, just in the bottom left corner of your screen, you can just click the little microphone that says mute or unmute. And then gallery view versus speaker view. So on the top right, if you have it on speaker view, you'll only see the face of the person who's talking. Will probably be my face a lot, so I prefer that you put it on gallery view if you don't mind. Just right in the top there, so you can click on speaker view or gallery view. And then the last thing is, just so everybody knows, the chat box should be in the middle of your screen at the bottom there. It just says chat with a little message bubble. Okay, that's all the housekeeping, so let's get rolling.
You want me to share the screen, Kelly?
Please.
Okay. Oh, where is it? There we go.
We're good to go to the next one. So today, guys, our goal is to educate, empower, and connect as business leaders, not to watch TV, as I said a few minutes ago. Something new that you guys may not have been a part of before, but I'm really excited about. We'll be using breakout rooms to discuss the topics in small groups together. So I think with the number of people we have, Catherine will probably put you into groups of 2 for each of those segments? Or do you already have that set to 4, Catherine?
I haven't said it yet. I think we could do 3 to 4 rooms.
Okay, great.
2 to 3 people per room.
Sure, great. So what we'll do is we'll teach a chunk of information, and then we'll do a breakout room where you get to discuss with the other people in your room what you think, how you think that's going to work in your business, or what you like about it, or ask others to share with you what they're going to do. So we can really exchange with each other and learn from each other. And we're good for that slide. Okay, so breakout rooms start now. So we're going to put everybody into a breakout room. So you'll be in your own little Zoom room with a couple other people who are on the call. And we just want to have you introduce yourselves and tell the other people what business you're in, and tell them a song that makes you happy right now. Enough.
Okay, good to know. Okay, sorry everyone.
Okay, and also you put Kelly Ray and Kelly Ray in a room together, so that was fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you want me to share a screen, Kelly Ray?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I see you now that your camera's on. Thanks for turning your camera on.
Okay.
Okay. So guys, today is about strategic planning. This term, I think for a lot of us, even for myself in my early days in business, it seemed very overwhelming and like kind of complicated. And so my goal today with this presentation is to explain how doable it is, and really explain it in a straightforward way so that you guys can do this in your businesses. And the reason we do strategic planning is to get the whole team on the same page, get them engaged and aligned common vision. Because if everyone in there is not really sure on the same path, you're not going to be running a very good business. You certainly won't be running a profitable business, and you probably won't have happy staff. We also do strategic planning to make sure that we're going about our business in the most effective and efficient way. We're spending our time and money and other important resources in the best places. Like in the name it says, we want to be proactive and strategic instead of reactive and at the mercy of everything happening out there. So pre-planning, getting ahead of it and having a plan in place rather than just like, oh, what's going to happen today, and then reacting to that. We also want to have the culture of strategic thinking be alive and well in our organization. We want everybody in our organization to think strategically rather than reactive. And obviously to create a strong and current strategic plan that can be used to achieve our mission, vision, and strategic objectives, which is just a way of saying our big important business goals. Good job, Catherine. We're connected. You got me. Okay, so what is strategic planning? Strategic planning has us ask these questions. Where are we now as a company? Where do we want to be? How are we going to get there? How can we find and keep more customers? Who will do what? How will we monitor our progress? And strategic planning, in my own words, is basically just creating the plan and assigning responsibility for each of the action items that will have you achieve your mission and vision. So it's just like a yearly plan where we look at the big goals, we come up with the action plans and projects and assignments for everybody, then we follow up on them. So that's strategic planning in a nutshell. So these are some of the questions that I like to, and you guys will get a copy of these slides, just so you know. I like to send these questions to the key people who will be involved in the session. So in some companies, they involve their whole team. In most companies that I work with, they'll take like the department heads and the senior leadership team, and they'll all be a part of it. And some people really like to have things to think about before a session. You might even be one of those people right now thinking, oh, I wish I had these notes before so I could think of what I could share in the breakout room. Unfortunately, that's not my learning style, so I often forget about that. But most of my clients love this. They love to have questions ahead of time. So I would have business owners or leaders send this list of questions to the people who will be attending the strategic planning session and have them think about it and make some notes. We want to know, where do you think we are now? And where do you want us to be? How are we going to get there? Who will do what? How can we build in flexibility? This question is so, so important. It's always been a key principle for me to teach business owners and leaders that flexibility is not optional. Flexibility must be a big part of your business plan. You have to think at all times when you're making decisions, can I remain flexible if I do this? For example, signing long-term leases or buying buildings or hiring staff or moving your business to another location. Every time you make a decision in your business and when we're strategic planning, we really want to build in flexibility. Because, for example, when we had the pandemic and all of a sudden people had to work from home, a lot of people didn't have a work from home plan. So having that would have helped with flexibility. And the next question is, how can we gain and retain more customers? This is such an important question. A lot of staff have such brilliant ideas, and they're the ones who work with your customers more often than you usually. And when you ask them this question, magical things happen. So strategic planning can just be this mind-blowing, amazing session where you come up with the best ideas, and you can transform your business during this session and make the next year just the best year ever. You want your staff also to consider the question, what do you think our strengths and weaknesses are? This is really important because they may see strengths or weaknesses that, again, us at the top don't see. You also want them to think of, do you know of any threats or opportunities that exist in the marketplace due to government, technology, recession, or other external factors? So oftentimes when I talk about strategic planning or I do SWOT analysis, things like that, I kind of gloss over the government regulations and restrictions part because it doesn't happen a lot usually in a lot of businesses. Sometimes there's like import-export regulations that affect some of the businesses that I work with. But other than that, until COVID came and all of a sudden there are so many government restrictions, this question didn't seem that important, but it is so important because even thinking of shoe solutions right now, we've got squares taped off all over the store so that everyone can remain 6 feet away, and people have to be seated in a section like a restaurant. And I think we could probably serve 1,000 times the customer every day if we didn't have to keep those government regulations in place. So we have to keep those things in mind. And then the next question you want your staff to think about before the session is, are there any opportunities we could exploit quite naturally with our strengths? We'll get into that more in a minute. Lastly, how will we build flexibility into our plans in case we have major shifts in technology, government, industry, etc.? So now, these questions I want you guys to think about, and maybe if you have a pen and paper, maybe jot them down. Otherwise, I think Catherine also is going to copy and paste them into the comments so that they come to us in our rooms, because we want to go into the breakout rooms and for about 5 or 6 minutes. How long did you give us last time, Catherine?
A couple minutes. I just thought because it was really quick and brief. So how long do you want in here? So I have an idea.
I think 10 minutes would be good for this one.
10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, this is a lot.
And then I will do my best to copy and paste after we do this into your breakout room. I'll send a message, but are you ready to do that right now then?
Before we go into the breakout rooms, guys, if you have a pen and paper and you want to jot these questions down, or take a picture with your phone or take a screenshot. I'm just going to take a picture with my phone because these are the questions we're going to be discussing in our breakout rooms.
Okay. Or at least a couple while I get in there and send the message. So, okay, I'm going to stop I will start the breakout rooms and then I will send you the questions. So,
okay. I wish I could be in all the rooms, you know, helping to spur the conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
I liked how you just popped into our room. Did you do that with everybody?
I was going to, but then I realized some were done. So that's why I was like, oh, okay. Wow.
Okay. Maybe next time, if you notice some people are done and others aren't, you could go in there and ask them to tell you their answers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I could do that. We've had a few people had to leave the meeting altogether, but we've been appreciating everybody's input. So the next room is going to be different, which is good. So, okay, I think we're good to start again. So let me share my screen and go ahead, Kelly.
You're the best host. Can you cover all my live calls? So guys, we would love to hear from anybody just to share with the whole group. I'm going to pick on Kelly Gray if nobody else says anything because he has the same name as me and he had some really great stuff come up. So does anybody want to volunteer to share what they learned from asking those questions? Okay, Kelly, you're up.
Thanks, Kelly. What did I learn from answering those questions? I mean, learn that there's, well, I don't feel I learned this, but I reinforced that there's a lot of work to do. But what helped was just focusing what the questions are, or specifically how to look at the questions, and some new perspectives on how to look at things, and some new opportunities to chase down.
Do you want to share your example of how you are being flexible and pivoting and
Sure.
offering? Yeah, please. That was so awesome.
Yeah, well, so I'm the artistic director of New West Theatre, and of course, with COVID, live theatre is really hit hard because we can't. Our industry depends on the ability to gather people. So one thing that we've done to adapt and be flexible, in August, we're doing a drive-in production over at the exhibition, where we'll have a big stage set up, and folks come and park their cars and watch the show in their cars.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so awesome. And it's actually a cool time to do a SWOT analysis, because there actually are threats out there, right, in the marketplace. But you really capitalize on that opportunity. I love it. It's like the entrepreneurial spirit at its best. There's so many people that have been doing that. Instead of complaining about COVID and getting stuck on the problem, asking questions like, how can we be flexible, or how can we capitalize on opportunity when all of our competition is experiencing the same threat? You can come up with ideas, especially involving your team and stuff like this. So great job. Thank you for sharing, Kelly.
Thank you.
Did you see the comment from Lindsay? Lindsay, do you want to share about your comment there and your discussions?
Yeah, sure. So we had a really great discussion about just strategic planning, and how it's not necessarily linear, and sometimes you go backwards, sometimes you go forward, sometimes you go up, down, in a circle. So just planning for different outcomes and having flexibility within your strategic planning is really, really important.
Absolutely. It's like the most important quality a business can have, flexible and cash flow.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready for the next slide?
Yes, 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 we are.
Thank you all for having your cameras on and for participating. We really appreciate it. Okay, so I call these the fundamentals. That might just be my term for them, but the vision, the mission, and the culture statement. So for me, these are fundamentals in a business. These are required in a marketing plan. They're required in a strategic plan, in my opinion. So we want to have a vision statement that is compelling, that it pulls us and our team towards it. So an example that comes to mind with a business I've worked with is to be the leading firm in Western Canada, or to have every single customer who experiences us be thrilled. You can have a vision that, you are the #1 company in the world in your industry. A vision like a 5-10 year from now picture that you can paint for your team that really excites them. And so we want the vision to be compelling, because it's much more effective to have your staff feel compelled by something and be pulled towards it, rather than you behind them trying to push them into doing their jobs, or trying to push them to be excited about something. So that's my definition of a vision statement. And then a mission statement is what we do, the way that we do it, who we do it for, and why. And I think a lot of people miss that why piece. And that's a mistake, because the why is so interesting for people, and it really lets customers feel connected to you. And it should absolutely be a part of your mission statement. So the what you do, the way you do it, who you do it for, and why. And when I say who you do it for, I mean your ideal customer. The only optional part of the mission statement is the for whom you do it, because sometimes you don't need to put that in. It's obvious or it's implied. So the what, the how, and the why. And I'm repeating that several times because we're going to go into a breakout room again, and we're going to talk about yours. So the what, the how, and the why. And then culture statements. So these are a set of rules or statements, like 5 to 10 statements that tell people the way that we do things around here. I want to say Peter Drucker calls it the way we do things around here, but I'm not 100% sure. But these might also be called like value statements. Other people call them company rules or company values, but basically it would be a set of statements that when you're looking to hire new people, you look at these statements, and if the person doesn't fit with those culture statements, you don't hire them. And then within your business with your already hired people, you coach your team and you make sure that your team follows the culture statements. So one culture statement, I'm going to pick on a business that I work with that has a really amazing culture. They always put family first. So they're a multi-million-dollar company. They have dozens of employees and they have a ton of work to do every month, every day, ton of clients to keep happy. But without fail, they kick every employee out the door at 6 o'clock at the latest, and they do not let them work weekends because family first. And they stick to that, and they are just wildly successful. And this is purely their culture. Their culture drives their success for sure. So we put family first. That's an example of a culture statement. We are always professional. That's another good example. We are always kind. Some of ours are, we are relentlessly solution focused. So I really love my team to be solution focused, not problems. You know, like, okay, there is a problem, but let's talk about the solution. So I hope that's clear. I believe our next slide is strategic objectives. So strategic objectives, these are just big goals for your business that you want to achieve. The whole point of your strategic plan is to achieve these strategic objectives that you set. And so that's just a fancy way of saying your big goals for the business. And here I've listed some examples of what those goals might be. So you might have revenue goals for your company that you want to hit. You might have gross profit goal that you want to hit, a net profit goal that you want to hit, an employee satisfaction goal. I love this one as part of a strategic plan. If you survey your employees every month and ask them on a scale of 1 to 10 how happy they are to work for you that month, and that number's only at like a 6, you can make it your strategic objective to get that number up to an 8 or a 9. Brand awareness is also another good strategic objective. Let's say that when surveyed, only 50% of the people in your marketplace knew about you. You might set a goal to have that brand awareness go up to 80%. Customer retention is also another number that's a really good thing to look at. So a lot of times people will spend a lot of money and time on marketing and advertising to get more people into the business, but they don't realize that they're pouring water into a leaky bucket and they have a high attrition rate. So looking at your customer retention, like what % of my customers came back within the last 6 months? If that percentage is not 100%, then you have a real opportunity there. It's way easier to keep current customers happy than it is to buy or convince new ones to come in. So customer retention as a percentage can be a really good strategic objective as well. And then another example that I see sometimes is new customers per month. So as long as you've got that hole plugged and the customers who are in the business are staying with you, you can set new customer goals. But like I said, don't just try to add new customers without fixing your retention first. And I think now we have a breakout room, don't we, Catherine? No, this is a lot for a breakout room. Okay, so competitive analysis and unique selling propositions. So this busy picture on the screen here is what I created in response to me sort of feeling like SWOT analysis that I did in school and stuff never really, it didn't seem like after I did it, that I had a very obvious direction to go or a very obvious strategic path to take. So what we do is we take your business and your competitors and we put them in the first column. Then we put the characteristics that matter to your ideal clients across the top. So for pretty much every business, SEO matters, search engine optimization. Where are you coming up when people are searching your keywords? Pricing often matters to customers. The type of business, this one's a hard one to explain. I'm going to skip these two because they're specific. Facebook reviews, now they're Facebook recommendations. If that matters to your audience, you want to measure yourself on that. Google rating and number of Google reviews, that definitely matters to everybody's business. So these are just some examples of characteristics that matter to your clients. And what we do is we rate you and your competitors on each of these areas. So then we can kind of see where you're really strong and your competition is weak. Can we exploit that? And one example of this is a big part of our strategy is getting Google reviews. So at the end of this presentation, I'm going to ask all of you, if you thought we did a good job, to please go leave me a Google review. And the reason that that's a big part of our strategy is because in the very beginning, when I first started this business 6 years ago, I realized that none of my competitors had figured out how important online reviews are. And so we really made that a part of our strategy. We do a lot of stuff for free. We do a lot to help the community. And every time we do something like that, we ask at the end if we can have a Google review. It's a really great win-win. But that came out of doing this exercise. So for you guys, when you're doing this for yourself, there is a free resource on our website, tmhbusiness.com. There's a free resources tab. And I want to say it's called, Differentiate for Success. There's a workbook on there you guys can download if you want. tmhbusiness.com, the free resources tab. The workbook is called Differentiate for Success. I believe there's a video with it too. So that will take you through how to do this for your business. Okay, Catherine, thank you. Okay, so there's no way that we can talk about all those things in a 5-minute exchange breakout room. So why don't we pick one each? Does that work for you, Catherine?
Yeah, I'll do the breakout rooms and then I'll just quickly copy and paste them in if that works for everybody.
Okay, so your action plan, I'm just moving this over here. So your action plan, so basically when you're in a strategic planning session, you guys will have established your strategic objectives. So we've picked your big goals. Then we reviewed our mission, vision, and culture statements. If you don't already have them, you would then create them in that session. And then we talked about doing a SWOT analysis or a competitive analysis to really find where you can differentiate yourself and beat your competition. And then this step is now we need to make an action plan. So to achieve our strategic objectives, there's going to be some projects that we have to do. So like some things that will have a start and an end date. Like for example, let's say that Mitch is on my team and I assign him, here's the marketing plan. You need to complete the marketing plan. That's a project. And we have to have that project done by this date. But then in addition to projects that we'll need to do to hit our goals, we'll need some ongoing things. Like, okay, since we want to attract 100 new clients a month, somebody needs to be responsible for the ongoing action of, Kelly, what would you do to get more people to come? Oh, go ahead.
Well, sorry, were you asking me a question or were you saying hypothetically you? Okay.
Actually, yes, I'm talking to myself. Sorry. No, you.
What would I do to attract more customers? Is that the question? I think we look at and analyze different types of marketing opportunities and try and engage in marketing opportunities we may previously not have engaged in. That'd be a start.
Awesome. Let's say you identify in the strategic planning session that getting Google reviews is a really, guys, if you're not talking, can you just mute your mics for me, please? So let's say that in the strategic planning session, you identified through your marketing plan, actually, what works really well, and that is Google reviews. So an ongoing assignment would be that somebody on your team is responsible for getting a certain number of Google reviews every month. That would be an example of an ongoing assignment to help you guys hit your strategic objectives. So for example, they could send out a survey or they could send out a link to every happy customer just saying, you know, if you think we deserve a 5-star review, please click here and leave your comments. And that would be like an ongoing assignment. Does that make sense? Okay, and then KPIs. So you need to give everybody KPIs or goals, and then you need to make sure that you follow up. So if Kelly's job is to get 10 Google reviews every month, I want to put in my calendar and his calendar to have a meeting every month to talk about that goal of getting 10 Google reviews per month. And we really, really, really want to get that in the calendars, because if we don't, it doesn't happen. So you want to make sure that that all goes into the calendars. Okay. So we have, next slide, Catherine, is that monitoring and evaluation? Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so monitoring and evaluation is really important. I don't know if any of you guys have ever taken a course, read a book, learned something really powerful for your business and then didn't do it, or you did it for a little while and then it kind of fell off. Unfortunately, this happens in most cases. 76% of change initiatives fail. So like less than 25% of things you implement actually continue on and get executed and become habit. So you want to make sure that after the strategic planning session, after you give everybody their assignments, you review their achievements. You check if they're hitting their goals. You follow up to make sure that the projects are finished by those end dates. And then those KPIs that we talked about. So for example, if Kelly's KPI is to get 10 Google reviews a month, you can either look at it once a month together, or you can have them track it themselves every day, every week, or every month. Just remember that as leaders, when you look at something with your staff and they get from you that that's the important number. So you want to establish those numbers, those assignments, those end dates, and then you want to follow up and make sure you get it into the calendar, because execution trumps everything. You can learn all the information in the world, but if you guys don't actually execute and then follow up, make sure that the other people are are executing, then we will not get the results. Got it? Okay, so we're gonna go into breakout rooms again, and we're going to talk about how you can use this with strategic objectives. What are your goals going to be? Or the slide went away there.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Projects that you're going to work on, ongoing assignments that you think are going to be a part of you achieving your goals. Now, I know if you guys don't have your strategic objectives in mind just yet, then the rest of this will be too hard. So then just talk about your strategic objectives. So let's go into breakup rooms. And if you already know, these are my strategic objectives and here's the projects and assignments we're going to do, great, share about that. But if you don't, just share about what you think your strategic objectives should be, or help each other set those. And those are going to be like the 3 main drivers for the business for that year. I thought you all hung up on me.
Are you wanting me to go to the next slide, Kelly?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Okay, guys, just to be responsible for the time here, we have 3 minutes. So this last slide is going to be Janice or Ruth, my brave girls that were in my room with me, are going to share with us. And I want you all to think about this, even though we don't have time for everyone to share. What is at least one thing you are committed to take away and apply in your business? Janice, my friend, you want to share your strategic objectives that you're going to put in place?
Yeah, sorry. My host just might get loud here in a second, but just that setting a goal of a number of how many clients per month that I'd be looking for. Like I'd be looking for 10 new clients per month is kind of the big thing.
Awesome. Awesome. So I know there's a lot of information today, guys. Do you want to go to the next slide, please, Catherine? You guys can get these slides. Catherine will email them out to you along with the recording, I think, right, Catherine?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so this is my shameless ask for a Google review. We do this in every presentation. If you guys thought that this was great today, we would really appreciate you Googling TMH Business Coaching and leaving your comments there. It means the world to us. And if you guys have any questions before we have to hop off, this would be the time to ask. Well then, thank you so much for playing along with our first breakout room exchange. I think, Catherine, you did an amazing job. Thank you so much.
Thanks everybody for your participation. I hope it went well. When I send the email, if anybody want to give me some feedback, that will really help us to keep modifying these going forward. And we want to make sure that they're useful and helpful to you. But we really appreciate Kelly's time. She has put so much time and effort and willingness into doing this. So thank you, Kelly, for everything you've been doing. And
thanks, guys.
And thank you, ATB, because they've partnered with us now as well. So we really appreciate them being here and promoting it and everything, and their participation and helping us modify the way we do this. So
yeah, it's a great way to spend 75 minutes, guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Bye.